So now that the Sonic 2020 movie is out, we've talked about it, we talked about the build up, we talked about the movie when it came out. What's left to talk about? That's right, the Sonic 2024 movie, aka the sequel. Now you're probably thinking, but is the sequel even confirmed yet? Well, no, but based off what they showed in the first movie, especially at the end, we can tell that they have the desire to make a sequel, but at the end of the day, it comes down to money. Now, Sonic has become the most successful opening for a video game movie, outdoing Detective Pikachu, and they're saying it's even possible that Sonic could do $1 billion at the box office. $1 billion from the Sonic. Insane. So, given those numbers, if that shit happens, a sequel is definitely on the table, and it's probably going to be happening around 2023 to 2024. I don't know if it'll be less than that, because given that they're adding Tails, that's more CGI, which means a lot more rendering. So it's gonna be a while. It's gonna take years out here. So obviously 2024 and the title is just an assumption. I don't know the exact time it will take. The Pixar movie takes 7 years, but that's full CG. This is like 2 CGI characters if they stick with just 2. So I wanted to make this video where we could just talk about what we can expect to see in this potential sequel. Not exactly what I want to see, but more of a predictions video. So we're gonna start this off with the most obvious point. We're gonna see Tails as a main character. They teased him at the end of the movie. We saw him fully rendered in CGI. He looked good. I don't know if they're gonna change the voice actor or voice actress, because in the first movie they just got the regular Tails voice actress to voice Tails, but it was just like a few lines or whatever. So maybe they'll just kind of like, oh, we're not gonna go and audition for Tails for like a few lines, but for the second movie they might go and pick some celebrity, some Ariana Grande or some shit like that, just to, you know, add to the hype of we got big names or whatever. Plus there's rumors circulating that The Rock is gonna make an appearance in the movie. Who knows if it'll be a cameo or a big role, if they can afford The Rock for a big role. That is probably a cameo, you know, based off that line in the first movie, is The Rock president? Maybe he'll be president, who knows. But we know that Tails is going to be a main focus in this movie alongside Sonic and of course Donut Lord and all those other people. And given that Tails is in the movie, we can also expect to see something iconic to Tails, like for example the Miles Electric, or maybe even the Tornado, which is technically Sonic's Tornado, but Tails is always using it, you know what I mean? And on the topic of Tails, we probably also see baby Tails, because they'll probably have some kind of flashback to when Sonic and Tails were friends before he left this world, or maybe they weren't friends. I don't know how they would have been friends if Sonic left this world 10 years ago according to the movie. Maybe Tails will find out about Sonic and go meet him in Earth or whatever. We'll probably see some kind of baby Tails flashback or something, because, you know, they like to promote that classicness, you know what I mean? And given that Tails is going to be the newcomer to the sequel, we can expect to see some kind of jealousy between Tails and Tom the Cop over Sonic's attention or affection. You know, it kind of makes sense, because Tom is finally taking Sonic in and Tails gonna show up, and they might form some kind of bond that might make Tom feel some kind of way. You know, they might use that for a few lines here and there. It's just kind of a it might not happen that way. I mean, in Unleashed, Chip was clearly stealing the show from Tails. He was the superior sidekick. Fight me, I don't care. But I mean, Tails didn't seem jealous in the game, so I guess it depends on how they write it. I mean, Tails was fine in Unleashed, but I mean, in Lost World, that dude was upset about everything. He was upset that Sonic was talking to Eggman, and he was doing some freaky shit there. But that's enough about Tails. Let's go back to Robotnik, or Eggman. We can expect him to be a little bit more like the games, almost like he's evolved to his full form, a lot more wacky. Like if you remember the end of the movie, his mustache had grown out even more. He shaved his head. He was wearing the red, you know, suit that he was kind of wearing in part of the movie as well, but he's stuck in the mushroom mode wearing all that stuff. Only thing left now is to, you know, gain weight, and then he's pretty much Eggman, you know what I mean? Like, who knows where they're gonna go with that. But I definitely think he's gonna go a bit more insane, because he was already kind of crazy. Now you locked him in a completely different world and did some completely different shit. It's just like, it's the natural evolution of the character, you know? And also, I predict that because he's stuck in the mushroom world, his mechs might start to look different as well, because he's going to be working with different resources. The way it might turn out might be different to when he had the government resources and working on those mechs there. He might have to work with what he's got there to build something to get him out, and that might affect the aesthetic of the bandits. I'm not saying he's going to use like animals or anything to power them or anything, because he's still got the blue thing, the piece of fur or whatever with the electricity. Then again, he might use that for himself, so maybe he will use animals to power it, but that whole world is empty, so I doubt that's going to be the case. But it kind of reminds me of like the first Iron Man movie. When Tony Stark built the first Iron Man suit, he was like trapped in that area in some random country, which I've forgotten. Was it Yemen? I don't even remember. But he was trapped there, and he was building the Iron Man suit with what he had, so it wasn't as elegant as the one that he made when he got out and was back to his lair with his big budget and whatnot. So I expect something along those lines of these new badniks. And onto the main character, Sonic. I expect Sonic to be more more confident and better at using his powers. Obviously, when he was at Earth before, he was lonely and just kind of acting very childish. He didn't know how powerful he truly was until the end of the movie. So I feel like he's going to get more confident at utilizing his moveset. Maybe we'll get a new power that wasn't in the first movie, maybe a homing attack, because I mean, look at how he was struggling to destroy those enemies in Tom's house when Robotnik showed up. Like, maybe with a homing attack, he'll just ice them out or whatever, you know. Maybe they'll just upgrade him a little bit so it feels like a progression. I'm not saying I'm going to get Super Sonic, I don't know. Of course, Tails will have powers too, so we'll get to see some of those in action. I don't know if they're going to give him that many powers, but we saw him fly in the first movie. I'm sure there'll be a scene where Sonic will grab onto Tails, like, you know, how he did in Sonic 2, Sonic 3 or whatever. So I can imagine something like that happening. And there'll probably be a scene in the movie where Sonic and Tails are fighting Eggman together, naturally, and some new power that involves combining Sonic and Tails' powers, you know, remember Sonic 4 episode 2, you know, kind of thing. And of course, with the movies, it seems like they're following that classic Sonic 1, 2, 3 formula. Like, the first movie had Sonic, now they've introduced Tails for the second one, essentially. So if they're going in that direction, we can also predict these things. A strong reference to a Sonic 2 zone, or maybe even multiple Sonic 2 zones. I know there was a light hilltop reference in the first movie, but I'm talking about a bigger reference. For example, we could see them visit an actual chemical plant that looks wacky like the one in Sonic 2, obviously. Maybe we'll see the Death Egg or the Death Egg robot, you know? Maybe even a battle scene in space, who knows? Maybe they'll say that for the third movie, I don't know. And also because the budget will likely be higher for this movie, and you can watch my previous video where I go into detail on why this will be the case, we can expect to see a lot more wacky environments and not just things that come from Earth. Like, they picked Green Hill because it's easier to replicate on Earth, Green Hills or whatever, technically. But now with the bigger budget, they can explore more alien worlds, and we could see way better environments like Grand Metropolis recreated, or Starlight Carnival, or even Eggman Land, or something that just looks way more impressive visually than Green Hills. Since the first time we saw 7 Chaos Emeralds was in Sonic 2, they might make an appearance here, I'm not sure. But if they do, then there'll be a potential Supersonic ending, although if they're working on a trilogy, which kind of was the idea that they were going with, then they might just save that for the third movie, you know, to avoid going down the whole hypersonic route, and that was only a one game and yada yada yada. So they might just save Supersonic for the third movie, but we might still see Chaos Emerald, we don't really know. And at the end of the movie, there's probably going to be another small scene teasing the sequel to that, which could involve maybe Knuckles or Shadow or Metal Sonic, depending on what route they go. I mean, we could, I guess, see Metal Sonic in this movie to aid Robotnik, who knows, you know, because now that he knows who Sonic is, he's going to make a metal version, right? Like, it's a potential possibility. But as for the third movie, the assumption is that they'll go with Knuckles, but we never know who else they could add. Maybe they'll add multiple at a go. Maybe it'll be Knuckles and Metal Sonic, maybe Knuckles and Metal Sonic and Shadow. Maybe they'll give Amy a shot instead of leaving her out like Takeoff and Bad and Bougie. I don't know, but I feel like Knuckles is the one that we can at least expect, assuming we don't see him in the second movie. I guess it depends on whatever route they decide to go with. But yeah, that's pretty much my predictions on what we can expect to see in the Sonic movie sequel. Let me know what you guys think about this list. What do you agree with? What do you disagree with? What would you add to the list? You know, I'm just going based off what we know and what I can just, you know, extrapolate from that data. But of course, this could be completely off base, or it could be, you know, 90% accurate. Who knows? We'll find out in the next 4 or so years when the movie comes out. I'm getting old for this, man. You can make me wait another 4 years for the sequel. Like, really? Like, oh my god. But yeah, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell. Subscribe to the non-Sonic channel, link in the description. But that's all I have to say right now. So, Remy out.